Welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston. I am your host, Nia Joy, your Golden Realtor, licensed in the state of South Carolina. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Laura, to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you have graced me with your presence. Everyone, you have to meet. This is Lora Gooslby. She is a realtor with Carolina One Real Estate. I'm going to let Laura tell you a little bit more about herself here in a moment as we get started. But of course, we always ask the same three questions, or at least along the lines of those same three questions. And that is going to start with Laura.
Yes.
What is your connection to Charleston?
Well, I am so grateful to live in Charleston. We've been here 25 years, and what brought us here was my husband's job. He worked for a flooring company, and he worked in Dalton, Georgia. And one of the representatives here decided to move into a different career, and they offered him the position, and we said yes as quickly as we could.
From Georgia. From where to Georgia?
So we lived in Cartersville, Georgia, which is north of Atlanta.
Okay.
I worked in Atlanta, and Charles worked in Dalton, Georgia. So during the day, we were 2 hours apart, and we were starting our families, and it was just, I was commuting an hour every day, and it was too crazy. And we really have been praying about it and just asking for maybe just a less frantic lifestyle. And then opportunity came along. So we were really thankful.
So you were ready to go. That would mean you would have to change your job. What were you doing at the time? Were you in real estate?
I was an insurance adjuster at the time. I had the exciting career in insurance claims. Ooh. And
you may be able to teach us a thing or two about some insurance and what do people need to say at some point? I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, it was. But it was at the time I thought, why am I doing this? But looking back, it was great preparation for what I do in real estate every day.
Okay. So you had so you go from one part of Georgia to another, and then I'm sorry, you were working in Georgia, and then you get a call to pretty much work here in Charleston. Your husband does, and you're like, let's do it. Let's pack up, move the kids. Let's move to Georgia.
Yeah. And so we understand, we sort of made a decision to simplify and downsize a little bit. Good time to transition to, I was having, my son was almost 2, and I was expecting our second child. So it was a great time to sort of downshift and simplify. So I was able to stay at home with them while they were preschoolers.
Okay.
And And then just sort of worked, volunteered at the school a lot, so much so that they offered me a job. And
what? So you're just with the kids every day. There's Mrs. Gooslby and the kids. You know what? Let's offer her a job. She just seems like a hard worker. She just seems disciplined and great with kids. Let's just offer her a job. What did they offer you to do?
They felt sorry for me. So I substituted preschool at Palmetto Christian, but at the time it was a preschool called Kids Day Out. Now it's PCA preschool.
Oh my gosh, that's such a popular school.
Yes,
school.
It's a joy. It's a great place. And so I taught preschool. I substituted. And then I started working as my children were older, grew out of preschool. Then I worked in the office of the school.
Okay.
And did that. And pretty soon we started thinking, hey, we need to start getting ready for college. My children may or may not get scholarships.
Never
They're
know.
full. I think I need to return back to the marketplace, the exciting career of insurance claims,
Uh-huh.
and let's save some money for college.
Hmm. And that was it. So I get what it sounds like. It probably sound like you're leading into your business love story with real estate, and so you sound like you went from insurance to real estate at some point. Tell us about your business love story, as to how you got in the business.
I Yes, it was really just an amazing journey because I tried to get back into insurance, but just for whatever reason, the doors did not open. And I've always loved real estate. In
Okay.
fact, when I was little, there was a book, and you may or may not be familiar with it. It's called This Little House, and it is
Little
by,
house.
it's called The Little House, and it is
Okay.
by, the author is Virginia Lee Burton. The Little House. And I always loved that book. I don't know if you recall it. It was about a house that was out in the country, and over time, the city grew closer to it. And it's the story of the family growing up at the house and the children loving the brook and playing out in the yard. But as time goes on, the city grows closer to the little house. And
That's what I'm looking up right now as you're talking.
yeah,
Like, this is
and
interesting. Well, so this book you're referring to, what made it so, um, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, how did you find out about this book?
it was just probably, I'm going to guess, reading level second grade, somewhere between second and fourth grade reading level. So it was
Okay,
one of the elementary school books.
makes sense.
It just, the story of the family loving the house and the metamorphosis of the house changing. And so, the children get older, they have their own families, and at the end, they actually have the house moved back out to the country. And oh yes, there it is.
Is that it?
Yes,
The little
that's it.
house? I don't know if the lighting's getting weird, but
That's it.
wow, it said it was written in 1942.
I know, isn't that amazing? So I've always been intrigued by real estate. And actually I was a speech communication major at the University of Georgia in the
Okay.
arts and sciences.
Oh,
Charles was a business major. We dated at the University of Georgia. We did take one business class. I took a let me think. Yeah, that was the only business class I took at Georgia,
uh-huh.
and it was real estate. And guess who made an A and guess who made a B? The liberal arts major made an A, the business major made a B.
Oh my
So,
gosh, does Charles know that? Are you allowed to even tell that story? Because I don't even know if Charles may have to pull out transcripts now. That is
uh,
hilarious. That is hilarious.
so it was just meant to be for me to be in real estate. And so I've always wanted to take the class, and
Uh-huh.
it was summer, and I said, you know what? A friend of mine took it at the same time, and Sabita Proctor, maybe you know her.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we took our real estate class at the same time, and the rest is history.
Wow. Now, there's a handful of real estate schools in Charleston. I went to one that was around for a while. Which real estate school did you go to when you took the
Uh,
class?
Kane Denny, the Charleston Real Estate School.
Oh, that's still around.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
He was great. Enjoyed his presentation and his dry wit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Still producing agents, still producing licensees through that school. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. The reason why I had asked you to be on the podcast was because I joined Carolina One, and I believe you were there before me. Was Carolina One your only brokerage you were at? Or your
It is. And one of the main reasons I came to Carolina One is I had met Terry Juarez, who at the time was the broker at Long Point Road. And of course, Maggie Griesman is our broker now.
uh-huh.
And but I had met Terry. She sold the house across the street from us in Snee Farm. And I really thought highly of the family, the Roberts family who lived across from us. And I just thought, well, and I'd met Terry through that transaction of just her working with them to sell their home. She did a
Yeah,
great, and I always thought if I ever have a chance to work with Terry, I would love that. And so I interviewed with Terry and that was it.
that was
So
it.
yeah,
Oh, so cool.
yeah,
So cool. So a lot of people, to know you is just the greatest thing. I had the opportunity to work with you, or I guess see you in meetings, and always admired your industry knowledge and how you care for the professionalism in the business. And so that always attracted me to get to know you better, and just learn more about your background, and being able to piggyback questions off of you. It's been great. It's been great. And I think you
likewise.
oh, thank you. But you exemplify truly um, some really admirable qualities in an agent. And so, if any of you have never worked with Laura Goolsby, she is a true professional in this business. And definitely, I've never done a deal with you, Laura, but I've heard you talk about your deals.
Let's do it.
And I'm trying to make it happen, Laura. I saw a couple of your listings. I'm just like,
You,
got a
thank
client coming to town
you.
this weekend.
I have a few opportunities.
Listen, you guys, check out Laura, check out her listings, see what she has available. She is really great at helping you find what you need for your clients and making a deal, just work out best way possible.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Means a lot coming from you, Nia. You are the consummate professional, and I can only hope to do half as good of a job as you do.
Oh,
So, and
seriously? I'll take it, Laura. It's coming from Laura Goolsby. I'll take it. Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
thank you.
So, Laura, this is the part of the show where we like to pivot a little bit, and I'm going to make it a little more interesting with this one. You actually are our very first real estate agent that we've had um, published on the show. I've interviewed another agent, and we've had to revamp some things, so I wasn't able to publish that one first. But you are the first agent um,
Wow.
that we've talked about real estate. I should say the other agent we really talked about another business. This is like really like real estate, realtor to realtor. So thank you for being a part of this.
You.
The question I'm going to ask: What? It's actually a couple different questions. What is the most interesting thing that has happened to you in real estate when it's came to a deal? Whether it be good or bad, just the most interesting, entertaining. You could choose the adjective you'd like. The craziest thing, the most unique thing you've ever seen. Just tell me something that I may not have heard about that was just kind of unique to a transaction you've done. Without
Well,
you
I've
don't
got,
have to be transparent about who the people involved, but I just really want to know.
well, I have to say, I'm always amazed. It is a miracle. I really truly feel every transaction is a miracle, a gift from God. I feel like if you're not in real estate, well, until you get into real estate, do you see all of the moving parts and pieces and how truly how it's about the communication of everyone involved. And if anybody drops the ball, it's like a ripple in the water. It's going to be felt at some point. But
Absolutely.
um, I'm so humbled and honored to be a part of every transaction, and some certainly go more smoothly than others.
Yes.
The timing of transactions is always just humbling, and
Yeah.
just happen at just the right time. Sometimes I think one of the more remarkable memories that I have, and this was early on when I
Hmm.
started,
Hmm.
um, a lender who could not close on the assigned day, and my sellers had moved out. All of their things were on a truck, and they were just kind of like driving around in their truck, and the buyers, uh, it was their lending company
Uh-huh.
that was creating the delay. They had all of their things on a truck, and they couldn't move in. No one could move in, and my folks had already moved out. And literally, I mean, it is a visual of two moving trucks just driving around Somerville, South Carolina, waiting to land, and it was on a Friday. And I think literally both families had to stay in hotels until this lender said that they could close on Monday. So I felt really sorry. It was the buyers. I represented the sellers in that transaction,
Yeah.
but the buyers, I felt like their own lender kind of put them in a tough position
A little
because
bit of a crunch there.
I know, I know. And my sellers were in a crunch too because they needed to close on this house in order to purchase their home. So,
The next one.
um, so I will say I get anytime I have a Friday closing, I have these, little I've got to let's start talking about this on Wednesday.
Little
My
PTSD, huh?
yes. So
Like, can we
we
get
get
a Wednesday? Can we get a Wednesday closing instead, just so we have a little wiggle room?
that's right. So I definitely we start talking about a plan B if I ever have a late Friday closing. Like what if?
What if?
So yeah.
And
Mhm.
and what roughly about what year was that? Like, would you say it's like early 2000s?
I would say that would have been 2015, I believe.
2015. Which brings me
Yes.
to my next question. I don't think you've discussed how many years you've been in real estate. Yeah, I'm trying to do the math here. Kids
Um,
in elementary school,
10 years.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
awesome. That's
It's been,
awesome.
I'm very grateful and thankful.
10
It's
years. So
been time.
has it been?
It has been. I mean, I have lost a patch of hair back here, but other than that, it's been fun.
Let me ask you something. So what would you say to newer agents? What would you say to newer agents who's thinking about becoming agents? And this expand any age group. What piece of advice would you give someone who's thinking about getting their real estate license?
Never give up. I just feel like it's challenging. It's hard. Lisa Northrup always she was our realtor before I became a realtor, and
Oh, wow.
yes, and she gave me a lot of advice and wisdom, and one of it is that you have to work hard in this.
Mhm.
And I think you have to set your expectation that you have to put your work on the front end and plant your seeds. And certainly I believe in the power of prayer, and it's a lot of prayer and a lot of preparation. I feel like you know, God has given us the gift of serving others as our in this profession, and I think that if you um, dedicate everything you do to His glory, just He will let success follow, and it's just persistence and not giving up, because sometimes it's just you feel like you don't know when the next transaction is going to take place, but
Mhm.
you just keep pursuing it.
Keep pursuing it. Keep going.
Mhm.
Which Laura is not going to tell you this, guys. So I'm gonna have to just go ahead and dust off a little bit of her award resume right quick. So Laura has been a recipient of many awards: Realtor of Distinction, um, Global Realtor of the Year. Um, I mean, I would probably make Laura blush if I read all of these things that she's earned. She's not just an agent who's just kind of flying by the seat of her pants. Laura works really hard for her clients, and she's helped a lot of clients. So much so, uh, more recently, you've been in the Carolina One Gold Circle, Carolina One Platinum Circle. Have you been in all the circles, Laura?
I think I you know what, is diamond the top?
Diamond is the top.
I don't think I've been diamond. I think
Not
I've been everything but diamond, but diamond is on my it is one of my goals.
so. Oh, speaking of
Yeah,
which, So speaking of which, Laura probably came very close to diamond recently, because I remember my first time getting in the platinum circle. Laura was at the top of the platinum circle. She was number one in the platinum circle. Just saying. So that was a big deal. I remember, I'll never forget that. And I was so honored. I was just like, because you're so right. Like when you're in this business, you literally work with your head down. Like at least I think that's one of the best ways to work, because you work with your head down. You try to work with blinders on, because you know that
yep.
if you look to see what somebody else is doing, or something that's maybe you're looking at another transaction that happened a while ago, and you have to just constantly keep looking forward.
That's right.
and looking, and I won't say looking down, but I mean, just being focused on the mission at hand, like you said. Um, but when I saw my name on the list with Laura, I was like, oh my gosh, I must have I really worked really hard to be in
And
the
see,
platinum
I thought
circle.
of you. I said, look, I'm with Nia. So I felt like if I were in your category, then maybe I'm doing something right.
Doing something right. That was an honor. That was a really great year. That was
So
2022.
yes, yes.
2022 was a great year.
Yeah, thank you. That was an honor to be with you.
Yes.
Superstar.
Listen, being at sales meetings is such a great thing, and I just being able to feed up everybody's energy and hearing about upcoming listings that you may have or another agent may have. That stuff really is it's great. So, Laura, do you have any other parting words of wisdom for our listeners here and maybe even your clients? Anything you want to share about, your time as an agent, maybe your time just being in the world and just generally helping people?
Well, I think I don't know if I have wisdom to impart, but I just have to say what you said was key. Just um, you know, keep working toward the goal. Um, keep our eyes on the Lord. I mean, that's really, I'm going to say that's really
Yeah.
the only way that I'm
Yep.
surviving in this business.
I agree.
And if I keep my eyes on him, everything else follows. And we
Yes.
just I try to listen and learn from others who have done this longer than I have and who have longevity. And I just try to also be aware of changes and not be afraid to change, because change is comfortable
Hmm.
and comforting, and just not to embrace the change. It's hard,
It
but
is
our business things change quickly. So
so
I try
quickly.
to do that. I don't know if I do it well, but I try my best.
I think you're doing something right over there. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate your
Thank you.
time. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm excited that we'll be able to share this with your clients and our colleagues. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will be seeing each other soon.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you for having me. This is a huge honor to be with you
Thank
on your
you.
podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Just making history out here together, right?
Woohoo. That's right.
Guys, be sure to download these podcast episodes. You can find us where all major podcasts are played. If you have any inquiries or any questions you'd like us to discuss on the next podcast or one of the next upcoming podcasts, send us an email, send us a direct message, let us know. Show some love for Laura and her business. Her contact information will be in the show notes. So if you have any questions for Laura, definitely reach out to her as well. You
I'd
guys
love
be
for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much again, Laura. You
You.
guys have a
Bye.
good one.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been another episode
So
of the
Laura,
Charleston
Yeah.
Real Estate Connection Podcast. Download all of our previous episodes on our website at charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com. You can also find us where all major podcasts are being played. Download us today.